Okay, malolele, sotofa. Welcome everyone to the Tu'itahi Travels channel. My name is Sione Tu'itahi. This channel is about travel, culture, and food, and everything else in between. Tonga is kind of the center of that point of travel and culture because of,
For you, that
for
is.
me, because of my heritage. As someone who was born in Tonga, raised there for 8 years, and come to overseas, I'm constantly yearning to travel back to experience Tonga, and so I'm lucky to be joined by my father here, Sione Tu'itahi, who's been a journalist for over 20 plus years professionally and still is writing and documenting stories, and he's an educator, leader at the global level of health, and many other things apart from also being a grandfather and a father as well. And so
A very proud grandfather.
very proud grandfather.
Grandpa.
So yesterday I had this conversation with your wife, my mom,
Your mom.
around the idea, because we went out for breakfast.
That's right.
Te koe nai matala no whikawaki mo e kaipongpongi.
Yeah, I saw the
The video.
the sumptuous breakfast. Certainly expensive.
Hey, I told Sione he should come along. I mean, you were busy, but I was like, you should come along. Come in there
But
breakfast.
now, over a humble otai.
Humble
Yeah.
Thai.
Okay, that's fine. No, firstly, malolere everyone. I'm happy to be here. Finally, my son Saya dragged me here, convinced me that we should have this conversation. And not only for his curiosity and yearning to learn more about Tongan culture and things, all aspects of the Tongan culture, but more important to me as a proud grandpa, these stories my grandchildren, our grandchildren, will find useful, one day into the future, especially those in diaspora. And so I'm happy to be here. And as you said, I've been writing for more than 20 years in Tonga and other parts of the Pacific as a journalist, and covering all sorts of topics from politics and to agriculture, farming, fishing, and any interesting story from the poor man on the street and in the garden. And it has been a blessed life for me, and came to New Zealand some 32 years ago, and switched career midstream, and retrained myself as a teacher and started teaching at a Pacific educational institution, and then from on to other places, Auckland University and Massey University, and then now I'm been in the public health sector for more than 20 years, both at the national and now global level as well. But back to the topic, breakfast. Again, I emphasize that you had a wonderful breakfast with your mom at the cafe, not here at our humble abode, but over humble otai. I will share with you my experience on having breakfast at 3 different locations in Tonga at different times. So that will give a sense to my grandchildren what it was like. We didn't actually have breakfast in Tonga when I grew up at home.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Like, it wasn't like food in the morning wasn't part of the culture?
Yeah, it was not really part of the culture.
Right.
We basically eat twice a day,
Yeah.
lunchtime and dinner, because it's a different lifestyle and different environment.
Yeah.
I grew up on the island of Ha'ano, and in the village of Pukotala, and we were surrounded by abundance, fruits, from of the land, and greens, from hopa momoho ripe plantains to siaine momoho, lesi, pawpaw. I pick up from your conversation with your mom.
Yeah.
Pawpaw, and of course mori. And we eat according to the seasons.
Yeah. Right.
And the fruit trees were around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the gardens were not far. It was just outside the outskirts of the village. And one of my father's, his only uncle was in the outside of the boundary of the village. he was living in his home garden, which was the traditional way of living in Tonga.
What was his name?
Remani. It's really Remani. He was a former minister of the Church of Tonga.
Is Lemani the surname?
Yeah, let's go to Remani. Remani is actually lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it is, a Tonganization of lemon.
Right.
Yeah, man. And he would grow bananas, hopper, taro, ufi, and all of that. And he'd always ripen bananas in a traditional way.
Yeah.
You dig a hole in the ground, a big hole, where you can put 3 or 4 bunches of bananas and hopper, and you warm up the hole first by burning dead leaves from the coconut tree, hulu, the tree, and then you put the mature bananas and plantains into that, and then you bury that. If you want to speed up the process, you cut green mature pawpaws and put in between the branches. That's how you ripen up bananas. Indigenous knowledge. Yeah, very interesting. And then you bury that. So it was not only seasonal, but it was all year round. Yeah. If you have a whakaafe, a feast for the church, at a certain time of the year, you guarantee if you go to their money, he'll give you a whole bunch of ripe bananas for your whakaafe.
Wow. Okay.
We remember that. We always go there on bananas. So breakfast was fruits,
right,
of all sorts. Also new motu'u, especially the ones with the uto.
Yeah.
With the shoot inside still growing like cake.
Yeah.
Nutrition-wise, it's very nutritious, very rich, and the water that is in it is very medicinal and very healthy.
I think of it like a sponge texture.
Yeah.
The uto.
Whāatu ka mō tōru mō kia koe ho ke si i.
Being little, yeah.
Nā ki whātangi. Ke whai mō atu mei oto
I don't remember that.
Pake lahi koe ka si ho toko lahi. Ke taimi koe ia. Koe nutrition nia. Koe kai tuo pe he aho. But the day starts with fruits.
Yeah.
Peka pau ke taimi koe o e tawa. Koe kai tawa. I think lychees, longan. Longan is tawa.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
It's plenty in Malaysia, Indonesia.
That's what I've seen it compared to longan.
Yeah, longan. It's a variety of the longan, family.
Because we think of lychee, but then I saw someone say, no, it's more like a longan.
Koe ia. Ai koe tawa na ia hono whahinga koe tawa mōri, tawa o mata ki whōlalahi au pito. Iai moe tawa kula, moe tawa anga mahe ni beu ki whōwhoi ki anga, he. Anga ne tau tawa be, koe kai tawa be ki he pāhi. Te ka holo beu, ka pahe kai ki te tokanga, te kai tawa be ki te aho koe. Ka pahe ki tokanga mātua, e kai tawa be, te mau kai tawa be mātua, that's our meal for the day.
Oh, true.
Nā ka hea koe klau, nā whakawhaahi tau. Koe tau vi, tau mango, tau tawa, tau mōri.
And beku kekepe lolo e tau, like the length of each person.
Paka mea ko hoko pe ai fruit trees here, hoko mai pe mōri he tawa, hoko mai pe mango he mea. You won't run out. The supermarket is from Mother Nature. It's amazing. And it's very healthy. Yeah?
So you're starting off with fruits, eh?
Yeah, fruits. All throughout the day if you want. When you feel hungry, have a munch, have a snack with fruits. That's what it is. Pa mo me agoia. Paka pau koe ke fu fema koe hangoi ni. Pau fema ke kika ke niu. That's our equivalent for cream and things like that. Ave how o foi niu ki ho kui. Ke ne hanga whahi. Pa ne wawa tuka koe. I went through that. It was wonderful. It's a quality time with your grandmother. Yeah.
With mele and Lavi?
In this case, it was Lavi. My father's mother. But also, very fortunately for us, our great-grandmother was still alive, Eleanor.
Eleanor?
Yeah, she lived to a ripe old age. God bless her soul. Tau tiao ma fa. Yeah.
Your matriarchal ancestors, your grandmothers, they lived for a long time.
Well, it's both. My dad, your grandpa, he lived to 92 years of age in a few months, and my mom, your grandmother, she lived up to 93.
Yeah, but even both your grandmothers, who I met,
Yes.
like they were old when I met them, when I was like, what, 2-3 years old or whatever.
Nana tala mai ko te masi longo pau koe.
What's that translated to English?
It's a combination
Very
of being
good
cheeky
child, obedient
and
child.
vibrant and active.
Okay.
Longo pau. Longo mo ui. The usual word is longo mo ui, being vibrant, lively,
Yeah.
a bit hyper up all the time. But my maternal grandmother, she has a way with words, She combined pau and longo mo ui. So
Really?
she took off mo ui,
Yeah.
but put in pau there, longo pau.
I wish I could have met Mele. I look forward to meeting her one day in the next world.
Yeah, you will. And so that was breakfast in Hapai, And while talking about meals, we almost always had a swim every day because the sea was only less than 100 meters away from us,
Yeah.
Real paradise, indeed. And so we go swimming, not only swimming, but also eat seaweeds.
Yeah.
And limu.
Yeah.
Either we followed Grandma Lamy to the shoal area, reefs and all of that, at low tide, and we then learn from here what weeds to eat, what not to eat.
Yeah. I was going to say, weed na mo whakai.
Yo koe limu fōfua.
4-4.
Yo koe limu koe mo limu tangao. Koe mo limu limu te puaka.
Limu te puaka, me te puaka
I kolo I uta. Unga koe pū koe whangapuaka, koe tū mama whangapuaka, whangatampu. Koe limu te puaka, koe limu fō to poto, fōlala. Mimihangia koe shape koe fōtunga koe te puaka he te koe mea. Hange koe whakatapu, Iwa mea. Ka koe uhi ngā kono fōtunga. Ka koe ifo kehe, ka koe equally nutritious and healthy.
Okay,
so there was plenty around. Even, ka te ngō mau kau ai, those were the wonderful old days. O mau whangatamai, peko, koe whangatamai koe kuipe, ka kono whanga cousins, as you know. Cousin Uraki o atol. Kapag na o whangota, na hake mau kau tahi, two things can happen. First, they'll give us fish to eat, raw fish. So that's where you begin to learn how to otaika. Koe ua, kapag na siya mai fuforo ho kau, koe tala mai, wabagi api o se otaika. He kamata o siya tō kukula, wela tu ame, pohia he kamea. So, pero kapag tam tala ngata koe, e whesi megi like lo ni o turi a ki koe mai rāta. Koe, ngā kuanga le rei mea we.
Oh, yeah?
So that gives you a sense of breakfast.
In Ha'ano.
In Ha'ano Island and in Pukotala village. I went to school in Whakakakai and also in Ha'ano for my primary school.
Right.
And talking about the sea and fishing, I saw at least once or twice the harvesting of the fishing of the bonito fish, the atu. Yeah. That's a story for another day.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
But in Hapai, like in Ha'ano, I mean in Whakakakai, there are 4 villages in Ha'ano. Whakakai, Pukotala, Ha'ano, Mumuito. In Whakakai, I learned all my relatives, my great-grand-uncles and second cousins, because my dad let them know, and because my dad was a leader of the community, and these relatives allowed me to come to their home and eat their food during lunch, because the lunch break at the primary school, common primary school where I first went to. But the ilo hato kāinga. But they see I can go matakainga, love, hospitable,
Matakainga.
Matakainga.
I don't think I've heard that word used.
You don't hear that word. When you see your mom being loving and caring for all relatives and new friends, and that's matakainga. Yeah, matakainga. It means matai ofa, mata ofa, mata kainga. You know? Kabau te ke matatai ofa, o ke kai ko hatahau ke mata kainga. You know?
Right.
You know, it's another expression of love that is central to our cultural values as Tongans.
Yeah.
When I was 6, going 7, my parents decided to take us to Tongatapu, the main island, because there weren't any high schools on the island. There was only one secondary school level at the time on the provincial capital of Lifuka, Pangai. Eh? So my parents decided to send 3 of us to where my maternal grandparents were living at the time. They were, Grandpa was a minister of the Free Wesleyan Church of Tonga. Ko hingoa tādai ki o mātua e whae ko kamperi tāuwha mo mere wharekao no tāuwha. Panana ngā uwha whai whekau I Korowai. They were serving Korowai at the time. That was an amazing time of my life.
So that was the 60s?
1960, January 1960 exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, funny things happen along the way. First time for me to eat ice cream.
In Korowai?
I found it very hot. I did not have a sense of what cold is, so I thought it was burning, but it was cold.
Oh, you thought it was hot?
Yeah.
I mean, you thought it was burning?
I was not the only one. There were quite a few stories like that.
Interesting. That's fascinating.
Yeah. Hinakai foge ha deep freezer, freezing, fridge and all of that.
Yeah,
that's relatively new to Tonga.
It would have been a foreign sensation for like the 6 years of your life, never feeling anything like
Even
that.
most of the shops in Nuku'alofa at the time, you know, the way to preserve meat was by salting the meat. So, you know, povi masima in Samoan, meaning bovine pulu, cow meat in salt. Povi masima. I Tongan na uigo pulu masima. Pulu is a Tonganization of bull. Same as sheep meat. And mahasima pemia godo. So there was no sense of coldness in our tongues, in our tasting buds. And so my 2 older brothers, I have 3 older brothers, as you know, but our oldest brother was adopted by our maternal grandparents from the day he was born, and so we were joining him, and so we were in this taxi car. I know the company, still named the Sione Bloomfield Taxi Company, and they the grandparents of your cousins, Viola and Paula.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, small world. Tonga is a small world. But go shut the hele me go go the opposite direction, go behavior. Fepaki. But my 2 older brothers were a bit ashamed of me talking like that. But they say, shut up. What the fuck there? But I'm a child, all of that. So in Korowai, the breakfast, very interesting, different from our experience in on Ha'ano Island. First, there was breakfast. And second, it was prepared, I did not realize, in a more European way.
Okay.
Yeah. So Grandma Mary, because we go to school, would wake up early in the morning and fry pancakes, It's basically flour and water. It's kekewai, and it's flat. Sometimes she would cook one with baking powder, so the flour will naturally rise, so it's slightly thicker and tastes different, nicer. I like that more than the kekewai and all of that. And also we will have tea, like moingalo first. There was moingalo in the backyard of the parish residence where we lived. Koe breakfast here, te mauti ki lai keke, pe koe kai e tō pai, pe koe kai e heu.
Is there like an afternoon?
No, this is breakfast.
Still breakfast. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
either she will make tō pai,
Yeah.
or make keke, whabau keke, pe koe heu.
Yeah.
Sometimes, rarely, laise.
Yeah.
And she would come into town and buy some. Obviously, she was trained as the wife of a minister in the European, cuisine and way of cooking, so that she can play her part, hospitality for visitors to the parish, visitors meeting, and dignitaries of the church when they come to visit my grandfather. My grandfather was in charge of the district of Hihifo at the time, from Fo'ui, Fo'ui village, up to Hatafu village. That's the far end,
Okay. Yeah.
the western end point of Tongatapu. And again, there was plenty of fruits. There were mori, tava, mango in town, in the village, and in the bush. So it makes me less homesick, and lessy, of course, And I remember some of the kids, they started to have ma, because there was a bakery in Nuku'alofa at the time. The Cowley's bakery was around. There was a little van distributing ma all over the Tongatapu. So some families were beginning to have ma as breakfast. And the joke was this at school. Nage fefe koe, nage kai ha koe bongbongi. Oh, nagu kai ma fefe koe, kai keke au. Fefe koe, oh, nau toku tu au. Fefe koe, oh, resi pe. Oh, koe resi koe mea kai puaka. So that's how ignorant we were at the time, eh? But I mean, not ignorant. We thought that the Palangi thing was
Yeah, of course.
much better.
Interesting, because then you start to put a hierarchy on foods, and then you start to the Western foods become the dominant at the top of the structure of the hierarchy.
Yeah. So Grandma Mere was wonderful.
Yeah.
Learn a lot of things from her, and in my other writings, I talk about the fact that she was a traditional healer, a medicine woman, and that's where my interest in the environment and medicine systems, I was roused more. It started in Hapai when I grew up, of course, but it's talking about the environment, it's another day. But let's focus on food because I'm hungry. Oh, koi ikabe ke tunu. Koi ikabe. Ika cake fish. I had a air fryer. Me osia ba ma what? Konu ko gibo dai no tege os. Io na sai abito no tonga mato emere. Emere. I he mautu ha ke na whakafo whai tau he mea kai. Ko ipu e kumaha. Ko ipu e ho tangata eiki. O te ke angata whakapapa pukata eiki. Nengo ke whainu pe koe kuinu. Anda ke awe ko ho whae. Mō ke whei kau. Kau whakaofa mea mo ipu o tai. Yeah, but that was Kolowai, and that was nice. Koe mea da, ina te mga tau mei. Breadfruit season. Grandma Mary would slice the leftover from the Sunday umu and fry them. Chips.
Oh, that'll be nice. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Real nice.
Yeah, chips.
You said to'u mei.
Yeah.
So to'u meeting season.
To'u is a derivation from ta'u. Yes.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Ko hoko ta'u e ufi. Ai ko hinga ko whahai ta'u. Season.
Yeah.
E mea, whahai ta'u mori en, ko ta'u mori en. Whahai ta'u ene ufi, whahai ta'u ene mango. So shorten into, ta'u. And the linguistic changes to adapt to how it is pronounced and easy to handle and remember.
Yeah.
Ta'u. Yeah?
Interesting.
Yeah, like fei haka. We are talking about food here. Fei haka. Yeah? Fei haka comes from Fai Haka, do the cooking.
Interesting.
And then it changed into Fai Haka.
Haka.
Same with Umu. Fai Umu. Fai Umu. Yeah?
Fai, fei.
Yeah.
So fei isn't actually like a suffix, or isn't actually a word that has a specific function. It's just like a variation of...
Yeah, it's a variation. It's a variation of the root word fai.
Fai.
To do things. You know, faiako, faihiva. Yeah, fai mea tokoni. You know? Yeah. Yeah. There are certain linguistic rules, why and how things are changed. Yeah, and all of that.
Just to go down this tangent just briefly before we come back to the last food breakfast story that you were going to share. I have a friend Ethel, who he's a linguist. I think he studied linguistics for his undergrad degree, I think, maybe master's. But he talks about this, there's this term in linguistics called metathesis, which is where words get variated.
Yeah.
And then there's a different sort of pronunciation of it. And an example of it could be the word ask, where people will say ax.
Yeah.
Ax you this, ax you.
Initially it's a wrong pronunciation, and then it got locked in, accepted, conventionalized.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, when you look at the history, the etymology of the word ask, it actually, ax, and axion, I think, is actually the origin of the word ask. And then ax and ask were used interchangeably at some point. Anyway, my point is, in Tongan language, you have this example of, I don't know if fai umu and fai umu is the same example of metathesis, but in Tongan language, one example of that which Ethel uses is taimini.
Yeah.
What do people say now?
Yeah, tainimi.
Tainimi.
It's not just recently. It's been like that. As a child, it's
Tainimi.
Your listening skills is not fully developed.
Yeah.
You say tainimi, and your parents would correct you.
I mean, even.
But it has stuck.
The thing with language is that whatever's going to be most comfortable becomes normalized,
conventionalized.
So then tainimi is far easier to say than taimi ni.
Yeah,
the way
fine.
that, like, anyway, that was just a brief sort of variation from the Talanoa.
So after 3.5 years, we moved to Hameu, Lato. My parents were able to secure a new piece of land in the low-lying areas of Hameu, Lato. The end of the Hameu, Lato, enclosure boundary, and then the government district of Whanga, and moving towards Nuku'alofa. And that place is called Tabana because it's a name given to a sawmill. So you heard the name Tabana.
I know
your grandpa, my father's little shop was Tabana Shopping Center.
So the history of their name is from a sawmill.
Yeah, the sawmill was named Tabana. It was named Tabana because at the time when it was set up, there was a cultural performing arts group from Tahiti, led by a well-renowned choreographer and dancer, musician, or Tamana from Tahiti.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so my father and his business partner, who is a distant cousin of his, decided it was his cousin who liked the name, so hence the name Tamana. People do not know that little bit of local history. Yeah. And so we lived there until, for how many years? From 63 to until we moved to our home in 1984. Our own little home in Tofo. Yep. So breakfast in Tamana was a bit like going back to Hapai, because life it was starting all over again for my parents.
Yep.
They left all their resources back in Hano Island.
Yep.
Their land, their home, their house, and their garden, and their fishing, traps and many other things. They were doing rather well there.
Yeah.
But they left all that because they value education.
Right.
And they decided to move so that we are educated. They did not want to go to existing villages far out where our relatives were.
Yeah.
They want to live near town. Logistics. It's about location. But the land was hard and harsh. The lowland, lots of mosquitoes, and when it rains and you almost swim. So our garden was out in Waini, quite far. Uta, the Liku, the coastal area of Waini.
Really?
Yeah. And we.
Is it where Olive
Yeah.
was?
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was in Waini.
Yeah, Waini.
That's where we used to go to. When
that's the land area of Waini.
Oh, true. I actually never thought about where is our Uta.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's where it is. So you can see it's quite a distance.
Yeah, it's pretty far. I mean, it's not too far. But
yeah, by Tongan standards, that's quite far.
It's
especially
quite far.
At the time, the transport was not by
horse and carriage.
Yeah, horse and carriage. Yeah, and even on foot.
River walks.
Occasionally not occasionally, often.
Yeah.
We walk to the garden. We are talking about breakfast in the 60s. So our breakfast then was actually fruits on the way to school. Between home and Te Whaiwa Stadium, the place was covered by guava, mori, mango, kava. You name the fruits, all the tropical fruits are there. That's where I told you, I think, I first saw coffee.
Yeah.
The coffee tree with the fruits
okay.
and the beans.
Around that area.
Raw beans that is, and also cocoa. Cocoa was introduced to Tonga, and the effort was to make it an export. Commercial product, but not successful with Samoa.
That's surprising, because I thought Tongan soil is more fertile.
Yeah. Somehow, it's just like coffee. It didn't take off. And then coffee was reintroduced in the 70s back through the government experimental farm at Waini, not far from our, Apiuta, from our tax allotment, our plantation, property. And I planted coffee. I don't know whether you still remember. I planted coffee at home.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, I planted coffee and other things at home. That is in our home, little home in Tofoa. And then Ma was introduced at the time. Well, so it's already around. Later we were able to afford, not every day, but most of the days.
Yeah.
And towards the end of the week, at the beginning of the week, it was Ma Nioke. You know what ma nioke is? Yeah, it's ma made of manioke. The leftover manioke from the Sunday umu.
Right.
Mom would reheat them, or either fry or just put in the haka and boil it up again, and we sometimes topai. But it was fruits all the way to,
You can actually make, because they would make flour from manioke.
Yes, you can.
Manioke flour.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone talk about manioke bread, but like if it's flour similar to wheat flour, then yes, my assumption is you can possibly bake bread out of the mahawa'a.
Yes, you can. You can cook it in different ways. Yeah. You can cook mahawa'a manioke as topai.
Yeah.
Just with water, roll it into little balls and drop into the boiling water. You can mix it with the wheat flour and make kekewai or keke isite. You can actually, the more traditional way, you can mold them into, again, hand-sized balls like this, and wrap it up with the leaves of the ifi tree. That's candle, not candle, that's tuitui, chestnuts. Giant chestnuts, ifi. And bake them, you call them manioke tama or to'okutu. Depends on the ingredients.
Right.
It's either manioke tama, that's pure manioke, and water and concentrated coconut milk, or to'okutu is more a mixture, more wheat flour than manioke. Tastes very different.
Yeah.
And so the Monday, the beginning of the week for breakfast, it's to'okutu, it's manioke tama that was baked in the Sunday umu. And that can last a day or two, depending on the time of the year. In summer, it will go off rather quickly. By Tuesday, when you pick it up, mafu, you know, you get it a bit moldy or slimy and all that. So what do you do when you're hungry? You wash it with water and eat it. I'm lucky that I survived these days.
What else are you gonna do?
And then eat more guava to heal it. You know guava is medicinal. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the young leaves. Yeah. So that was breakfast in Hameu until we have the shop introduced. Then, well, we started working. I was working, and we are able to buy more healthy, nutritious stuff. I'm not saying that the manioke tama was not healthy, because we supplement that with lesi and I grow veggies.
Yep.
You know, I love gardening. Mana tui pe, koe tatano koe ni koe ki ipu o tai Hameu pe. Ko whakatanga pe, koe tatano ho koe whai ha ki ke whei, he? Kai koe pe, malo bitu.
Yo, malo.